Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bridge course. Today, we are going to deal with both physics and chemistry, bits and pieces of physics and chemistry. And we'll do it that rather quickly. Hello, Shashank. Good evening. All right, let's get started. So, there are certain laws in physics and chemistry which are common to both physics and chemistry. For instance, and these laws you always have to keep in mind. You have to always remember these laws when you approach a problem at intermediate level. And these laws you have learned in ninth class, all right, eighth and ninth. But you have to remember these laws when you approach a problem even at intermediate level, even at graduation level. All right. So let's look at those laws. Okay, just a second. Yeah, correct. Done. First one is the law of conservation of mass, and second one is law of conservation of momentum, and third one is law of conservation of energy. These three laws, if you keep in mind, most of the questions become very easy to approach, easy to attack. All right, let's discuss one by one. First one is law of conservation of mass. It states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed. Mass will not come from nothing. All right, mass will not come from nothing. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed. So total mass of a given substance will always remain constant, even if even when they undergo any physical, chemical, or thermodynamic process. A very important statement, students. A changes aina kuda, mass remains constant. The total mass remains constant. You might sometimes get drifted away by the statement that mass remains constant, but the actual statement is total mass remains constant. What do I mean by total mass remains constant? I'll let you know. But the most important statement is even if they undergo any physical, chemical, or thermodynamic process, even under these processes, the mass remains constant. For instance, for example, ice turning into water. So after whole the ice is turned into water, mass of the ice and mass of the water will remain the same. It doesn't change. Wood turns into charcoal after burning. Let's say you burn wood. When you burn wood, what remains is charcoal. Charcoal seems to be very light, but what is remaining constant is mass of the wood and charcoal plus all the gases which are being released while burning. So mass of the wood is equal to mass of the gases escaped plus mass of the charcoal. So before the change and after the change, mass is remaining the same, whether the change is physical, chemical, or thermodynamic. All right, students, is it clear? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? All right, good, good. Let me go ahead. Now, there are certain exceptions. When I say mass can neither be created nor destroyed, and mass remains constant, the exceptions are we can when in cases when the mass is converted to energy, so we will have to apply the principle of mass energy equivalence. So I will not talk of mass remaining constant over there, where mass is being converted to energy. And in the case of special theory of relativity, where mass depends on velocity, and which is beyond intermediate level. All right, you may get a glimpse of what of that what relativity is. You might read it over some cases where you're interested, if at all you're interested in. But to get the complete grasp of it, it is beyond intermediate. All right, let's look at some applications of law of conservation of mass. balancing of equations, which you learn in chemistry, is based on this law. We say reactants and products. The mass of the reactants should be equal to the mass of the products. Total mass of the reactants of all the reactants is equal to total mass of the summing the masses of all the products. Right? So that is what the law of conservation of mass says. And many questions can be solved using this law. For instance, now this is not concerning balancing equations. This is a physical situation where a big sphere is converted into small spheres, or small droplets of water combine to form a big droplet of water. Let's say in gravity-free space, I've got droplets of water, and when they combine to form a big droplet of water, what is the change in mass? Mass remains same, but there is other parameters will change. So such statement is very important when you approach such a problem. So mass doesn't change. Surface tension, pressure, internal pressure, there are other factors which will relate at intermediate level, but the fact that mass remains constant remains standard for any question you approach at intermediate level. Look at this case. A wire is stretched to increase its length. Like a rubber band, if you stretch a rubber band, you apply force on both the sides of the rubber band, it stretches, right? Its length increases. Similarly, a wire which is not seemingly extensible does extend to a certain extent when you force is applied. In that case as well, mass remains constant, and that is very crucial. That statement is very crucial in concluding other facts of the other parameters of the same wire. For instance, how do you get calculate the length and area? How the change in length and area is affected? Because mass remains constant, volume also remains constant. If density is same, density is constant. All right. Now there are other things which can deduce from the law of conservation of mass. For example, law of conservation of volume. When the density of the substance is same, all right, density is same in upload and mass is constant, so volume also remains constant. Volume of a given substance is always same whether you reshape or rearrange into smaller pieces. As I just give you an example, a sphere is being divided into small spheres, or a sphere is converted into a cube, reshaped into a cube, or small droplets of water are coalescing to form a bigger droplet of water. In all such cases, because mass is constant, mass is always conserved. Because density is constant, I can also conclude that volume also remains constant. So volume after the coalescence and before the coalesce, before the droplets coalesce, volume is going to be same. Volume of a sphere, if reshaped into a cube, volume is going to be same. It comes from mass. Mass is actually same because density is also same. Density is remaining constant, so volume also remains constant. Density has to be same in both the cases. No, what I mean by density is to be same is density is to remain constant in whole of the process. All right, Saichiran is here. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about what do you mean by density of a substance. Density of substance you have learned already in school. We are just revisiting it quickly. It's nothing but mass per unit volume. Mass of the substance divided by volume occupied by the substances, mass per unit volume, which is density. Students, but at intermediate level, you have similar concepts that are related to density. They are linear density and area density or superficial density. All right, linear density and area density, or it's also known as superficial density. The linear density is defined as mass per unit length. Let's say we have got a very thin wire. All right, so where you thickness you neglect, compared to the length of the wire. So you consider it to be just linear density over here, mass per unit length. Instead of talking mass per unit volume, you talk about mass per unit length. Now let's say areal density. Areal density, you talk about areal density when you have got a very thin sheet of metal, thin sheet of material, or let's say I've got hollow sphere, a hollow sphere. That means I've got a very thin layer of rubber ball, let's say, very thin layer of rubber ball. I'll treat this I'll treat this as a thin sheet of sphere, and I'll use areal density to describe to reduce the parameters. All right, so you've got three things actually: linear density, areal density, also known as superficial density, and volume density. Now, students, let's say I've got a sphere of radius r, mass is m, and let's say the density is rho. Okay, so what would the density be? Mass per unit volume, mass by 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? That's the density. Now, let's say I have to find out mass of this sphere, which is scooped out of the big sphere. It's a big sphere of radius r, but there is a volume of this sphere which is scooped out of it, దాంట్లో నుంచి తీశారు, of radius r by 2, let's say. Because diameter is r, radius is r by 2. I have to find the mass of this one. So what do I do? Mass is about density times volume, where volume is 4 by 3 pi r by 2 cube, and density I know is from m by 4 by 3 pi r cube times 4 by 3 pi r by 8 r cube by 8. So 4 by 3 pi 4 by 3 gets cancelled out, r cube gets cancelled out. So what results is m by 8. So mass of this scooped out sphere is m by 8. Of radius r by 2 is m by 8. So what did I do here? Basically, I have found out the density. From this density, I'm using the definition of density is equal to mass by volume and getting the mass from here of unknown volume. So known volume, unknown mass of a known volume. Because density is what we know from initial mass. All right. So such calculations you will have to do. Now let's consider third law. Sorry, second law of conservation of momentum. Second law in our list, law of conservation of momentum. Now, the important point over here is this is applicable only when the external force is zero. When the net external force is zero, law of conservation of momentum is applicable. This is what you have to remember. Whenever you read a question and you see that there is no net external force acting on this you have learned in ninth standard, but this is heavily applied in intermediate level. In whole of mechanics, this is one of the most important laws to crack a problem. Law of conservation of momentum, law of conservation of energy are two of the most important laws to crack almost any mechanics problem. Any good standard mechanics problem, these two laws are heavily used. And this says total moment of the system of particles is same when the external force acting on it is zero. That means before the event, after the event. Let's say there's a collision, or let's say there's an explosion. Before the explosion and after the explosion, momentum is same. The other day we were talking about the question in logical deductions. If the mass is projected this way after explosion, mass is divided into two parts, right? One and two. Let's say second part goes in towards east. In which direction will the first part go? Will it go in this direction, or this direction? West, southwest, or northeast, northwest, or any other direction? Can you quickly tell this answer, students? Of a particle instantly after explosion. Before explosion, it was at rest. That's very important. Before explosion, it was at rest, and there is no net external force acting on the particle. All right. So after the explosion, if one particle goes towards the east, in which direction will the other particle go? We are just talking about the direction. Any quick answer, students? All right, Akhilesh has an answer. Okay, good. I appreciate. Shashank is good. Good, Shashank. Akhilesh, can you think again? Shashank, that's absolutely right. It goes in towards westwards, right? Because before before the event, it was at rest. So total momentum was zero. After the event, momentum of one particle is towards right. The momentum of the other particle should counterbalance this one. So that should be towards left. So if this is east, this has to be west. Right? Because momentum, yes, opposite direction. Exactly. Akhilesh, that's absolutely right. Opposite direction. So if it goes towards east, that goes towards west. Very good. Excellent. All right. Now this says, now let's go for energy, law of conservation of energy. We'll quickly state the law. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be converted from one form to another. This this statement, students, we talk of conservation of energy in most of the problems in work energy chapter, students. Students, I just like to mention something. In a bridge course, we have done what was done on school level. We have gone deeper into thinking of the same school concepts, but a deeper level, at a deeper level, deeper thinking strategies, how to think, how to train your brain to think. That's what we have done in bridge course. But bridge course is very confined, and in time, we do not have much time to explore most of the things. There are many things to be explored, students, to be taught, to be uh, teach you how to think. But we could deal with only certain things. But we are going, whenever we launch another video, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll get to know the notification. So ఇంకా మళ్ళీ ఎప్పుడైనా మేము ఇంకా వీడియోస్ రిచ్ కోర్స్ లాంటి వీడియోస్ ఏదైనా రిలీజ్ చేస్తే ఏదైనా లేకపోతే డెమాన్స్ట్రేషన్ రిలీజ్ చేస్తే మీకు యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసేస్తే మీకు నోటిఫికేషన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. Alright, so that's what I wanted to mention. And you also have, see, and one more thing, students. Bridge course is a bridge course. It will bridge the gap between 10th and intermediate. It is not the intermediate course. Intermediate course ki intermediate classes ఉంటాయి. Intermediate coaching ఉంటుంది. In bridge course, doing intermediate in bridge course is by definition it's wrong. All right. So I presume we have done justice to the very definition of bridge course. Students, if you have got any doubts or any concerns, you please WhatsApp to the WhatsApp number 96422152226. And I now invite Gayatri ma'am to continue the session.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Very good evening, students. Welcome to the bridge course for commerce. All right. So now, after your 10th standard, you have an option whether you can choose. Many of you would have opted for commerce, isn't it? So let me quickly tell you what is that you learn in commerce. So what is commerce? It is nothing but it is defined as exchange of goods and services between two or more entities. It typically involves just buying and selling things of value. It should have some value. So commerce can take place between businesses, between consumers, or between businesses and consumers. All right. And all the commerce students will be basically doing two subjects relating to commerce and accounts. One is accountancy and the other one is either commerce or business studies. Apart from that, you will also do economics, right? So now today I would like to throw some light towards accounting. What is that you learn in accounting? It is nothing but it's a process of recording financial transactions pertaining to a business, which includes summarizing, analyzing, and reporting these transactions to the agencies, regulators, and the tax collection entities. All right. So now with this, I'm sure you all would have been very much puzzled. What is this accounting? What is recording? What is summarizing? All right, fine. See, what is that we basically do in a business, right? Let me just explain you. All right, yes. So what is that we basically do during our business? We buy goods, we sell goods, isn't it? So everything deals with money, right? So how was that the money flows throughout your business? That has to be properly recorded. That has to be properly analyzed, right? And all financial transactions, all transactions relating to money has to be properly kept a note, right? It has to be summarized, it has to be analyzed, and these things has to be reported to our management, right? Why? Why? Who is interested in our accounts? Who is interested whether our company is earning profit or loss? All the, people who have invested money in our company, the shareholders, right? And all other creditors who would have given goods to us on credit, even they are interested whether our company is doing well or not, isn't it? And of course, government, the collecting department, they want to know how much money, how much profit we are making, so that based on that, the money can be collected by them as a tax, right? So how the money has to be accounted. So that is what we learn in accounts. A very interesting and a very lively session is accounts. Now, there are many types of accounts. One is asset accounts, expense accounts, liability accounts, equity accounts, right? So let me not go very deep into it. So what is that you do accounts? You do accounts for your expense. What are all expenses that a company makes? Paying salary to the employees is an expense, right? And purchasing raw materials for the production of goods is an expense, right? Then making insurance for their employees, right? That is also an expense. Paying rent for the office is also an expense. Paying wages to their workers is also an expense. So there are many expenses that a company makes, right? So how do you think that the company makes a profit? Whatever is an income that the company makes minus all the expenses would amount to the profit, right? Yes. Now, for accountancy, we have very important golden rules. So the whole accountancy is based on only these golden rules, right? So there are three rules. There are three accounts. One is personal account, real account, nominal account, right? And in this, you have debit and credit. Personal account is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account is you have to debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. All right. Now, who needs to do accounting, right? So, in the sense, who all needs? Okay, Akhilesh Reddy says, what is insurance? Insurance is nothing but, there are many kinds of insurance. Like we take insurance for our goods, we take insurance for our property. The company takes care of their employees. So they takes insurance for their employees. So the employees' welfare is more concerned here, right? Fine. Now, who needs accounting? Now, everybody needs to do accounting. They can also be a non-accounting cadre. Like even an engineer needs to know a basic accounts because he needs to file his income tax, isn't it? So accounting is something that everybody must, that is their last thing that they need to do in a year, right? Even a lawyer, he needs to file tax returns, right? Even he needs to pay tax, isn't it? Every businessman has to do accounting. Every lawyer, even doctors, the doctors needs to do, they need to disclose this is their income, this is their expense. So whatever is their profit that they are making, they need to pay tax for the money that they have earned, isn't it? So accounting is one of the very important thing that everybody must know what is basic of accounting, because all of us need to pay tax to the government, right? Actually, if they fall under the proper category. So most of the people, an engineer or a lawyer, doctors, any charitable institutions. So everybody falls under this category, right? So the next thing that I would like to tell you is there are many specialization in accounting. So what you would have thought accounting is nothing but debit, credit, income, expense. No, accounting has many specializations. See, you have accounting and finance, you have marketing management, human resource, economics, international business, entrepreneurship, supply chain management, business analytics, e-commerce, digital marketing, banking, financial service, risk management, insurance. Accounting is something, it's like an ocean. That's one of the best option that anybody could choose after standard 10, because you have so many categories that you can have your specialization. Now India is growing, isn't it? So it is not something which is closed. These things have opened up widely. Now e-commerce, you all must be knowing e-commerce, the digital marketing, isn't it? So the banking sector, financial services, entrepreneurship, any businessman, economists. So these are the listed one are very, the important one that I have listed few key specialization in commerce. So apart from this, you have many, many small things that you do in accountancy and commerce, right? And the career options, you all must have heard what an accountant, banker, company secretary, insurance agent, stock traders, investment banker, actuary, financial advisor, HR executive, their salaries per year is being listed. One of the best profession, it comes out only from accounting, right? And after you do your 10th, you can take up your chartered accountant. So the chartered accountant, when do you say you are in a CA? When you finish your foundation, intermediate and final. And this is a chart like how you can do your CA, your foundation, your intermediate and your final, right? Next, after that, you also have CMA. Earlier, it was called as ICWA. Now it is called as Certified Management Accountant. Here also, you have foundation that has to be cleared. You have intermediate, you have final. So after clearing all this, you become a certified management accountant. This is totally based on your production side, right? And the third and the very important one among the triplet course is the company secretary. Who's a company secretary? A company secretary is a person who's in charge of all the legal issues of a company, right? So when you say that I'm a company secretary, after you finish your company secretary executive course, after your professional course, so you become a perfect company secretary. All right. Yes. And top 5 reasons why you should pursue your company secretary courses: business governance champions, diverse industry options, networking opportunities, entrepreneurial path, continuous learning. Right. And we do provide a good foundation course for CA. And the entrance course we are providing you. So you are always free to ask us, contact us at this number 964-221-5227, and all your queries will be answered. And anything related to accountancy and business studies, you're free to answer to us. All right. Akhilesh Reddy says the career opportunities is better in which course? See, every science is one field, commerce is one field. Okay. So both the field has equal career opportunities. But the only thing is, if you have analytical skill, if you are very good in arts, you can definitely take up accounts, right? Because to me, I feel this is much wider. You can pursue anything. And as I told you, everybody should at last come to only an auditor to file their taxes and returns. Because if you don't pay tax, what happens? You are answerable to the government, isn't it? So this always has its own unique features and importance. And learning accountancy is very simple process. Only thing is you need to be little systematic, learn all the rules and regulations, and you should be good in basic mathematics, basic maths. That will do your multiplication, addition, subtraction. That's it. Basic mathematics will definitely help you in your accountancy course. And what is it we learn in business studies is how to do a business, right? So is it that easy to do a business? Yes, it is. But only thing is, it depends on what kind of business that you are doing. Are you going to do your business on a small scale? Then you come under the sole proprietorship, right? And if you are going to do it along with your friends, then you can do it as a partnership. Or if it's a very big company, then it becomes a MNC companies. All right. Yes. So any clarifications regarding this courses, anything, you can please WhatsApp us this number 964-221-5227. Of course, government jobs are definitely, I can say, guaranteed. If you are very systematic and if you pass all the exams, you will definitely get your government jobs. More than that, the placements are assured. If you are very good, then definitely top companies will come and definitely take you for their companies. And any other doubts, please you can WhatsApp us. All right. So let me hand it over to Arun, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Students, so this was a very short journey into the intermediate realm. A bridge course of 11 days. We could cover a very small part of what we wanted to cover, because 11 days is not that huge a time for us to cover everything. So we will release more videos. You can definitely watch it on the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get the notification. All right. And yet another thing, students, there's a Super 20 batch which is being formed by JET CS, Jatadhara Education Technology, for intermediate students, which is in which there is a scholarship exam being conducted on Sunday. Top 20 students of this top 20 students will be selected and will get free coaching of worth 1,20,000 for 2 years. Dedicated free coaching targeting IIT, JEE, mains and advanced, and NEET. All right. So if at all, pass this message to the ones who are interested. If you are interested, you please make an attempt. You will get to know where you stand. Write the exam. Write on the game. Not a big deal. You just write the exam, or please pass this message to the ones who are wanting to go for intermediate coaching. And top 20 students will be given coaching for free. All right. So that's it, students. So it was very nice meeting you all. It was very nice. We had a very good bunch of students. So thank you all. Wish you good luck. And thanks for the support. And if you've got any queries, students, please WhatsApp to the WhatsApp number 96422152226. Oh, Akhilesh, that's so good to hear that. So good to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to us. Akhilesh, thanks so much for that. All right, students. So wish you good luck. And